It's a solution in search of a problem. The eye poke needed to be addressed for a while. The uniform change, take it or leave it. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. But they did make one for what is a downed opponent. And that was a struggle. That was a big struggle. There's not one fighter, not one. That's a literal statement. There's not one fighter on board with that rule change. There's not one promoter, and again, that's literal. There's not one promoter on board with that rule change. These people got together in a back room and put this together, and you're just sitting there scratching your head going, wait a second. You're telling me you want to change the down fighter rule so that the other guy can knee the guy in the head when he's in a terrible position. That is the opposite of fighter safety. Encouraging knees to the head. It was just this ridiculous thing. And you see that all the time with government work. But generally, there's a need for it. Even if they get it wrong, they're trying because there's a need. This one, these guys were out in left field with the catcher's mitt on. Nobody wanted this change except them. And there's a referee that sits on the board, and he thought it was a big deal because he thought it was making refs look bad on what was up and down. And now they made the sport more dangerous in the guise of protecting it, and it was ridiculous and it was wrong.
I would imagine even for promoters that has ramifications as it pertains to insurance and things of that nature too. I know a lot of like amateur promotions, athletic commissions, they straight up outlaw knees or elbows because some of these guys got to go to work on Monday.
That's right. We have that in Oregon, and it's the same thing with heel hooks. There are some stuff where you go, hey, listen, this is a hobby. Very few people are making a living at it, and even if you are, you have a reasonable right to go make a living without having to go to the hospital at the end of the day. So, they acted unilaterally. I don't like that. This is not the biggest deal. I don't mean to have this in my craw, but you brought up the question. This was ridiculous. This was a solution in search of a problem. I've never seen anybody game this. I've never seen it. I trust that it's happened. I've never seen it. I must watch 10, 11 fights every week. I've never seen it. So they literally, there was no problem, no outpouring, not one fighter on board and not one promoter on board, and they changed the rule to make the sport more dangerous. And they operate under the guise, now this is a fake guy, all right, they operate under fighter safety. We are here to protect fighters and make sure this is safe. That's what they operate under. It's not true. They operate to get a check every Friday at 5 deposited in their account. But in that vein, in that false narrative of fighter safety, they made the sport more dangerous. And you rack your brain sometimes. You go, what's going on here, guys? This is the blind lead. This is the blind. This is ridiculous.